Hey, what's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Let There Be Talk. Today is August 20th, the Monday, of course, and August 20th is a very, very special day around the Del Rey hut. That is Mr. Robert Plant's birthday, one of the all-time kings, if not the king of rock and roll, in my eyes, of course. If you've listened to this podcast over the last 6.5 years or whatever it's been on, I'm absolutely a Led Zeppelin freak. So Robert Plant, still alive, still out there rocking. Just amazing, this guy. Everything he's done over the years, the many times I've seen him live and the many times I've dove down the bootleg and YouTube footage at late night and all the DVDs and everything of watching this guy. I don't think I've watched anyone more other than AC/DC probably. Or Prince, you know. Those are the dudes. You just get late night, you know, like this morning, I realized it was Robert Plant's birthday, so I jump onto YouTube and just start watching footage, and there I am, just 2 hours go by, and now this podcast is late. That's how I get, man. I'm like, I got to put the podcast up. Oh, wait a minute. That ADD kicks in. It's Robert Plant's birthday. Next thing you know, I'm just watching Zeppelin footage. I still worship that DVD box set they put out. I think it was around in 2004 or something. I can't really remember. It was a long time ago now, but it had like Nebworth. And then it had, what did it have? It also had the 75 era. Royal Albert Hall, I think 71. It was like 3 concerts. And I remember getting that and just probably watching that every day for about a year straight, just mind blown. And all of it's incredible, but my favorite still, and I've talked about it before, is when you get to the 79 Nebworth, and this is towards the end of Zeppelin. Because, of course, they stopped playing in 80. They do the 13 shows in Europe, and then Bonzo dies, and that's pretty much it. But they did these warm-up shows, Nebworth, for the European tour for 1980, In Through the Outdoor. And I'm watching it, and they do Achilles' Last Stand on that. And this particular Achilles' Last Stand is so insane, man. To watch it. Go on YouTube and watch it. It is just a punch in the fucking face. Anyway, happy birthday, Robert Plant. And perfect way to open up this episode because Robert Plant, Zeppelin, all that reminds me of Day on the Green, which reminds me of some of the first rock and roll t-shirts I ever got. And it also reminds me of the greatest piece of rock memorabilia that I believe, for me, in my eyes, for my collection, if I could get it, would be these rare Led Zeppelin sweatsuits that Bill Graham had made for when they played Day on the Green in 77, which were the last shows in the States. Of course, they played Day on the Green 2 days, then Robert Plant's son dies. They cancel the rest of the 77 tour, and the U.S. dates are history. Anyway, Bill Graham would make cool shit for bands and crew for special occasions, big things. He did it for years, hence the amazing rock and roll posters from the Fillmore. Anytime a show would sell out at the Fillmore, at the end of the show, when you walked out, you could get a free poster of that show. You could not get it until the end of the show, which I loved. Bill Graham would do very, very cool special shit. That's why he's got a deep spot in my heart. I thought he was just one amazing visionary of how to do rock and roll shows. Anyway, he did this sweatsuit for the crew and band members, and once in a while they come up on eBay for like $2 or $3 grand. And one day I want one. I just want to frame it. Or somebody make one so I would actually wear it if it wasn't the vintage one. I would just wear this thing. They're smoking. You can see them in photos. There's a photo of like Bonzo wearing one at the drum kit. I remember I got Burr this photo of Bonzo, I think for his birthday or something, and it's a clean shot of Bonzo at Day in the Green, and he's wearing the sweatsuit, which is just cool. And then you can see like the monitor guy, he's wearing one with a cigarette, big mustache, sweatsuit. It's just so cool. Anyway, I'm rambling on, of course, like I always do, because I just fucking love rock and roll. But you know what I love as much as rock and roll? And the reason I'm rambling on about this merch is I love rock and roll t-shirts and memorabilia. Of course, I'm an absolute lunatic over rock and roll t-shirts. The very first one I ever got was at the Kiss show at the Cow Palace, 79 Dynasty Tour. That thing never left my body all the way the rest of the time at school and eventually disintegrated. It was one of the greatest days of my life to have a rock and roll t-shirt. You got to remember, back then there was no fucking Hot Topic, there was no Target, there was no, Macy's or anything where you could just walk in and buy a rock t-shirt. Fuck no. You had to go to the show and get the shirt. If you didn't go to the show, you did not own a rock and roll t-shirt. And that's just all it was, all there was to it. It was definitely a medal, a badge of honor, a gold medal, whatever you want to fucking call it. You'd be at school the next day. And back then, most parents wouldn't let their kids go see concerts because concerts were looked at as like, ooh, there's drugs there and crazy people, because of the way people would talk about concerts. But you would wear it to school, and then it was kind of like a full-blown show and tell. People would gather around like, wow, you went to the show? And you're like, fuck yeah, I did. I went, man. You'd embellish it a little bit. 14 joints. Total Fast Time Spicoli stuff. But to be honest, man, that started my addiction of rock t-shirts. And one of my favorites still to this day, of course, is the Kiss Dynasty. And I remember a couple years ago, my boy Blaine Haverson, who I had on the show, has remade that shirt, and I wear it all the time to this day with pride. Another shirt that never left my body was the AC/DC Back in Black shirt. And at the time, it looked pretty simple. Just had the logo on the front, and then on the back, it was a stencil outline of the United States with the Back in Black song titles in the middle of it. And then it said Tour 1980. I got one of these at the Cow Palace as I saw AC/DC, and I never stopped wearing that shirt. It's one of the greatest rock shirts of all time because, like I said, you couldn't get rock t-shirts. Later on, they started selling them at like record stores. Like you'd go to Tower Records or the Record Factory. Record Factory was big in the Bay Area. And you could get a shirt, but it wouldn't have the tour dates on the back, which made it cool because then you'd be like, phony. He didn't go to the show. No tour dates. Anyway, I can't tell you how much I love rock and roll t-shirts, and my guest today is the king of rock and roll vintage t-shirts. He has an incredible business. Patrick Klima of Wyco Vintage out in Kansas City has one of the most incredible collections I've ever seen. And not only are they a sponsor of my podcast now, which I'm very proud, he is a guest today and an incredible guest. And I would consider this almost a handmade episode because he started this business from the ground up. He's working outside the box. He doesn't work for some company or the man. This guy gets up every morning, turns the key in his car, and he hits all kinds of locations and the computer, anywhere he can, to find collections of vintage rock original t-shirts. And like I said, if you've heard me over the last few months, or a few weeks actually, on this podcast, his collection made my head pop off. You can go see it as I'm doing the interview. It's fun to go through his Instagram, Wyco Vintage, or his website, and look at the stuff we're talking about. And also, I'll be posting some more stuff in my Instagram feed today. And if you do want to get anything from him, use the code DELRAZOR and you'll get a discount. The code is DELRAZOR when you check out. I strongly suggest you check it out, mostly because this stuff is it's starting to disappear. It's out there, but it's starting to disappear. And if you have some stuff, hit him up. He'll buy your collection, man. There's got to be people out there still that are like, my uncle worked for Ted Nugent for 17 years. Is this stuff any value? Yeah, hit him up, man. Anyway, I hope you guys love this episode. It was incredible for me to do. Anytime I see a collection of rock shirts, I just lose my mind. I've been wearing them my entire life. I never owned a suit. I don't own any kind of button-up shirts or any of that shit. It's always a t-shirt on my body with usually a rock logo. And I'm 52 years old. I will not change. I love it. And sometimes I go, oh, this is ridiculous. I'm wearing that. And then I'm like, no, it's not. I got a shirt yesterday. We talk about it on this episode. I got the Danzig shirt I've been looking for 2 years. Scored it yesterday. Anyway, before we get to the guest, I want to thank everyone that came out to Denver. I was headlining out there, and it was a pretty damn magic weekend. I want to thank Wendy Curtis and all the staff at the Denver Comedy Works for supporting me over these years. They were the first club, real A club, that was took a chance on me to start headlining besides the Punchline in San Francisco. And I will never forget it. And I always have dreams of being a huge comedian and giving back to them, like by doing like Red Rocks or something with them. You know, it would just be magic. I love them. And I love all you that came out. It was great to see Jamie. I haven't seen her. She was one of the first fans that came to see me, and a friend at the Comedy Works many years ago. And also all the people, the church family, Joey Diaz's church family that came out, Death Squatters and Del Razors. I love all you guys, man. I can't tell you how weird comedy is. It's so weird. Like you work on your stuff and then you go somewhere like Denver and you do it, and just strangers are laughing. It still blows my mind. Or maybe they're not laughing. It's just fucking great. Comedy is so amazing. Quick shout out to all the great Patreoners. I love you all. Matt Finney. Matt Finney, this episode is dedicated to you, buddy. Kick ass on the Patreon. Patreon.com/Dean Del Rey. Also, another king on Patreon, Robert E. Losif. Thank you, buddy. Robert E. Losif. Casey Shearer. Awesome. Thank you guys for your Patreon support. It definitely helps. Before we get into this, let's see. Some tour dates coming up. September 14th through the 15th, I'll be with Bill Burr in Richmond, Virginia. The 16th, Charleston, South Carolina with Burr. Foxwoods, Connecticut with Joey Diaz, September 28th. September 29th, the Wilbur Theater with Joey Diaz. I believe that's sold out, but if you're going, I'm just giving you a heads up. And of course, next week, I'll be headlining in Minnesota at the House of Comedy. What is that? It's like August 30th through September 2nd. So come see me in Minnesota. Can't wait to see you guys. And I guess that's about it. Some great records out right now. Check out the new St. Paul and the Broken Bones. They got some new songs up. Their record's about to drop, but they got some new songs. Amazing. And the Magpie Salute record is pretty damn fucking good. So go out and check that stuff out. Shout out also to the incredible Klipsch Speaker Company. You remember I had them on Handmade episode. Klipsch. I always like saying it so weird. Klipsch Speaker Company. Thank you for hooking me up with these awesome Wi-Fi speakers. Oh my God. I'm going Wi-Fi while I'm a nomad out here bouncing around. So I got a little audio wherever I'm at. I love you guys. All right, I guess that's about it. Long live Aretha Franklin. That's all I can say. Nobody has inspired more soul singers than Aretha Franklin. Rest in peace. You are the voice of the angels. My goodness, she was an absolute goddess. Let's get into it right now. Here we go. I love you guys. Patrick Klima. All right, here we are, another episode of Let There Be Talk, and this is a great guest. You guys know how I love the rock and roll t-shirts, and you love the Blaine Haverson Maid-Worn episode. And over the many, many years of myself collecting rock shirts and being an absolute freak about it from, all the way back in the late 70s, early 80s, I discovered this man here probably about 5 years ago or so. I don't know. And I was like, wow, this guy's a nut like myself. Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Patrick Klima. I'm the founder of Wyco Vintage.
Yeah, man, and we're out here in Kansas City. But I don't even know what the fuck you're doing out here. But let's dig into your story before we really get... I walked around your place here, and your collection is amazing. You sell shirts, some of the rarest ones. And the first thing you showed me was two Lynyrd Skynyrd shirts that were in the plane crash. I don't even know who could fucking say that, but you have two shirts in the Skynyrd plane crash. What the fuck? How did you get those? And they're two shirts, and who went back and got them and everything? Fill me in.
So about 7 years ago, one of the Skynyrd plane crash survivors, Donnie Kretschmar, he worked for Shoko. He was a sound engineer. He had passed. His daughter had posted a lot of his belongings on eBay with really reasonable buy it now prices. And the Skynyrd shirts, they weren't even labeled that they were a part of the crash or anything. She actually told me it after it, so it wasn't some kind of selling point. But
right.
She made a comment to me after, please don't ever sell these. And I never did because I kind of told her I wouldn't, and so I didn't. But the other stuff, you could kind of debate whether or not were these really a part of that. And the collection had, as I told you, there was a '79 Who Cincinnati tour shirt that was from the show where the people actually got crushed and died at the concert, and there were other Shoko pieces that also were a part of the collection.
Right. Wow, that is insane here. Now, how do you get into collecting, and what was because a lot of people, they're always funny. They tell me, they go, because you sell them for a living, and people are like, oh man, $200, $300, $500 for shirts. But what they don't understand is these things are going away. They're not around, and they're works of art, and they're pieces of rock and roll history. So give me the background of how you started.
So I used to have a job in a cube farm. I was a freight broker, and one day I just started looking up toys and stuff I had when I was a kid on eBay. And then
How old are you?
I'm 34.
Okay.
I'll be 35 this year.
Right.
But I started looking up stuff I had when I was a kid, and
I did that too, like Stretch Armstrong, Bionic Man, Evel Knievel. I don't know
Ninja Turtles.
Yeah,
are a big
for you.
thing.
Gotcha.
But I was just, I've always kind of had a fascination with things old. I like music, and it led into me looking at stuff I had or shirts that my older cousins had because they got to go to all the shows. I was too young to go to a lot of them. And so it was just artwork I was familiar with seeing that, I really enjoyed, but, never had a chance to get it for myself. And so I started doing that. And as I was doing it on a daily basis, I started getting a little OCD about it. And I would look every single day for the same shirts all the time.
What were you looking for at the time?
It started with Rush. I was looking for cheesy stuff that was just funny and just goofy stuff.
Like you were gonna wear it like a millennial, like ironically, right?
Yeah,
like
a little bit, but I enjoy these
that was going
artists.
on. You were seeing, I would say about 10 years ago, you would see a Britney Spears or Lindsay Lohan or Paris Hilton. They'd be wearing like a Van Halen 1984 tour shirt, and they were all buying them from that guy there in L.A. Oh shit!
Probably Mike at Filth Mart.
Yeah, well, Filth Mart. Before Filth Mart, though, was another store in there, and I forget the guy's name. Damn it! He's still in L.A. now, and he's on. I think
Kelly Cole or
what? Yeah, Kelly Cole.
Okay.
Yeah, Kelly Cole. And Kelly Cole is an old friend of mine from back in the DJing world and stuff. He was a rock and roll DJ, and so was I. But you would see these girls show up at the club, and then, Us Magazine would take a picture of them wearing one, and then all of a sudden all these other millionaires needed to have them. But before that, I think that you could really score a shirt for about $30, $40 on eBay. A good one before that.
Oh, absolutely. You used to be able to find really good deals. And I think part of it, just like the gal that sold her dad's collection that I had bought the Skinner shirts in, people are passing away, and as these kids are having to go through their parents' stuff and unload all of these things, they've got to sell the stuff, and it's at that time where those people are starting to pass, and so the stuff's changing hands. And once it changes hands, the person who initially owned it is disconnected now from the sentimental factor.
Yeah.
And so that's how a lot of the stuff gets out there, especially the really old crew pieces. I mean, some of the early Stones and Zeppelin stuff, those people have already passed and sold their stuff. So it's already in another party's hands at this point, a lot of the early good stuff.
Right.
And just like 4 years ago, you could get Nirvana shirts for $20, any of them. Now today, all of them, 200, 300. I mean, the one that Justin Bieber wore, those go over 1,000 now. You know, and it's amazing because there are the trends that happen just because of a shirt, and then it gets to a point where stuff gets repopped so much. The stuff that wasn't reproduced is the shirts that people start gravitating towards because they want something more unique.
Yeah. It's funny because what I do is I go, oh, well, I need a new version of this shirt that I wore, the actual holes into it, and deodorant burned it all up or whatever. Now I don't even wear deodorant with any kind of aluminum in it or anything because it just would, they say you'll get Alzheimer's, but also it just eats your armpits up in the shirts. Now, so once you start scoring some shirts, what were some of the first ones you got?
Well, I started buying things like I said, I thought were funny or crude. Like I really wanted the GNR with the original Appetite artwork.
Right.
Like just had to have that.
And
right?
that one, even 5 years ago, 10 years ago, was still expensive.
Yeah,
because it was so iconic. It's one of the top 5 iconic rock and roll T-shirts ever. Because of two things. It was one of the most iconic tours, humongous band, and Robert, did the artwork. So it's just insane,
Yeah, that shirt can be really hard to find just because it was made in limited numbers anyway because they pulled that artwork. But also eBay and some of the other sites will actually censor that graphic. So you could have the actual album cover and it's totally cool. But if it's on a shirt, they'll flag your stuff. Like those 2 Virgins shirts I showed you, the John and Yoko shirts.
Yeah.
Those used to be listed online, but I pulled them down because they kept getting flagged on eBay for the nudity. And it's like art nudity.
Yeah, that's so weird, right?
Stupid.
I mean, you could sell like murder, serial killer stuff, but you can't sell that,
There's so much weird shit on there that people sell that they shouldn't be able to, and the fact that they allow that to...
Now, I walked around here, and it is obviously, has turned into a giant business for you. And I've known about your company for years, and I just saw the collection. It was pretty fucking mind-boggling.
Thank you.
As you start to get stuff, does it start pretty organic? Like your buddy's like, hey, I need a shirt like that. I'll buy it from you. And you start looking and selling like that. How does this happen?
Well, at first, like I was buying just bands that I really liked or were looking for, and so I would focus on the stuff that I knew that I grew up with. And then like I listened to a lot of 90s punk rock and had like this little punk thing going for a while. And so like I was really into some of the old punk stuff from like Lookout Records and Fat Records.
Oh,
I mean, the early 90s stuff.
Yeah.
I grew up with the Warped Tour, like that's
Any Cro-Mag shirts out there?
We've got one. We've got Best Wishes, the best Cro-Mag shirt there is it's like a 9 or 10 color print.
Whoa.
It's got the
wow.
Yeah, it's
what
amazing.
size is that? I mean, we'll look later, but anyway.
It's a ridiculous shirt. Those come up literally like you'll see maybe one in a year if you're lucky online. Like they just don't even come up. And I know that genre hold on to stuff a lot tighter than some of the other people, but we still haven't gotten to that point, though, either, where those people are old enough to, pass it on.
So you start buying other bands, and are you learning about, like, what was collectible? Because if you're not a big fan of, like, stuff from the 70s or 80s and you grew up during the Warped Tour stuff, are you going like, oh, this is what people are looking for, so you start looking for that? Are you starting to think as a businessman, or are you still just buying stuff for whatever?
Well, I grew up with a lot of like 70s and 80s rock. My parents were into it. And so, I had a really great, base knowledge of just kind of music. And I've been lucky to be around a lot of people who play music. So, I was exposed to a lot of stuff. But one of the things I think that really opened my eyes was I was noticing people were paying a ton of money for Talking Heads shirts.
Right.
And I just never really had listened to anything besides the singles that you would hear, most commonly.
Right.
And I hadn't ever seen Stop Making Sense, and so like I didn't understand it. And so I started listening to the Talking Heads, and it didn't take long. I was just like, Jesus Christ, of course I understand now. And
this band's amazing, right?
I fucking love the Talking Heads. David Byrne was just in town, and it was amazing.
Wow. So you start buying stuff, because what I'm trying to figure out is, when do you realize this could be a business?
At first it was like I was trying to get the more expensive shirts, but I couldn't really justify buying them. But I was like, if I can buy some of these smaller ones, sell them, then I'm cool to spend $500 on a shirt that I really want. And as in the process of doing that, I would just see more and more opportunities to buy shirts at a price where, later on I would see people paying way more on auction. And it just got to a point that I'm business minded, and I just kind of took some principles that I had from the job I was working and just kind of structured it into a streamlined business as much as we could. But it definitely took a while. We started in the early 2000s, and we actually opened up the eBay store in 2007, and then 2012 is when I took it on full time. And so since then, that's when we actually created our website. Like at one point, it was all eBay.
Right.
And if you remember, eBay used to be awesome. You could find great stuff all the time.
It used to be great.
Today, it's all fakes. It's junk. You're dealing with people that are trying to pass stuff on you to just, make a quick buck. And it's not what it used to be. Google also had an effect on their algorithms, which changed things. But it showed us that, like, if we're going to do this, we've got to get a website. And so, doing all of that and getting the whole package together to make your website run with these other platforms, with the inventory management, it took years to pull all of this stuff together and make it all work. But now we've got it down to a science, and, we have people contact us all the time wanting to sell their collections. And
wow.
So it's gotten to a point where people know that, hey, Wyco Vintage, that's where I go for shirts. If I want to sell shirts or buy shirts, these guys are the guys that do that.
eBay really has changed almost to the terrible side now also of like, they just take all the money, man. Once they bought PayPal and it became like they're taking 10% and then they're charging to the list, a final list fee, the shipping fees. And, it's really like you can't really make anything on there. It's only good if you've got a high dollar item that you need a lot of eyes on. Like I had that Stones McJagger shirt, and I knew, I recently sold a very, very rare poster, and it sold immediately. It's only good for big eyes. Other than that, it's terrible.
It's a sea of waste, essentially. I mean, a lot of the stuff. And I don't know if you saw the new thing they did. If they suspect that you talked to somebody on there and completed the transaction offline, they'll hit you with the selling fee for the item.
How do they even find that now, you know?
I just hope I don't get in that conversation with them.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous, right? It's like, I mean, how greedy do you have to be? You're already getting tons of money from me listing and final fees and PayPal. And I mean, they get part of the shipping fees and all that. It's just crazy. And then they're like, you know, they've got to be using like some kind of computers that are seeking out, like, I think the transaction went down. There's not a dude in an office, you know.
It's all bots. They'll flag stuff sometimes. Like, we actually had an instance where we were selling something on eBay. It was this collectible Kansas City Chiefs player bobblehead set, and somebody locally wanted to see it. They knew we were in Kansas City, and they were like, hey, you know, here's our phone number or whatever. We didn't respond with anything like outside of the parameters. And we got flagged by eBay because those people, that other party had sent their info to us without us even asking.
Yeah.
And their robots picked it up and, you know, flagged our account for a second. And it was just like, you know, at that point, there's no personalization to it. It's just a automated piece of crap at this point. And if you have to...
Just greed machine.
It is. It reminds me of when I worked in the corporate world every year. I was in sales. Here's the new commission plan. And they're like, you know, talking it up. And you do the math and you're making less than the year before.
Yep.
eBay does it with the fees every single year. They like try to tell you, oh, do this, you know, and
it's fucking bullshit, man.
it's big time bullshit.
So once you get up and going, like how many shirts did in 2012 when you become full time did you have, and that you felt comfortable enough to like, hey, I could start, you know, selling this stuff because you got employees, right? How many employees you got?
Yeah, we got 3 guys, and including myself, that work on this project. And basically, when we first started out, it was out of the basement in our house, you know, and it's a small room. And so, you know, it was a small closet with the inventory. Everything was just like really small. And it just kept growing. We just kept snowballing, you know, like instead of taking the profits and you know, going and spending all the money on whatever, I just kept buying more stuff because to me, I just, this stuff is important to me. I like it. I feel, you know, I enjoy being the custodian of it because I know I'm not going to, you know, own this stuff forever.
Yeah.
I mean, there are things I'll never sell, but, you know, I feel comfortable being surrounded by rock and roll relics. And so it's just, as this thing has gone on, it's like the displays, the posters, the stuff I've shown you. I've got a lot of stuff still that's put up, and I just, until we moved into a place where I could even slightly display it just kind of sat for a while. And the more that I got into it, the more I would look up these old displays. Now I've got this other thing that's like feeding my OCD where, you know, I want to get more displays, and I can't wait to see what else is out there.
Yeah, I noticed that because you can switch gears into like, because that stuff is really gets into the artwork, you know, because you can frame it and hang it up, and it's like, wow. Do you know, have you ever thought about doing a coffee table book of some of the rarest shirts?
We've participated in a few different books that were just based on bands. We've did shirts for an Iron Maiden book. We did a book on punk, a book on metal. We did, there was an AC/DC one. We did Green Day. Like, we've done all these, just doing like those books. And
people contact and say we need photos for.
Yeah, they want all the shirts, you know, for those bands, and you know, we've done stuff like that. But there's already been some books done. Ultimately, there will come a day where we will have a website set up that's going to basically show our whole archived collection. I mean, I've been doing this so long. We've got probably, I would estimate 20 to 25,000 shirt images archived, you know, dating back to when we first started out. And so that's a lot of history. And so we want to break it down and make it really searchable so you can go in and basically see every single Led Zeppelin, whether it's a crew shirt, it's the actual tour shirt, or it's the parking lot shirt. You're going to be able to see all of that stuff. And so that's kind of like a long-term goal, but essentially it's a vintage t-shirt Bible of sorts. And I don't think you could ever have a book that would just be tough, right?
What do you consider? I mean, we all have our own holy grails and stuff, but what do you think is probably the top rock and roll shirt, would be the most expensive ever? And I mean, it does come down to the fan, because as I was looking through stuff up there, it also comes down to when the people all of a sudden pass away. You have some incredible Purple Rain crew stuff, jackets and shit. You have some Appetite for Destruction leather jackets. You got the Illusion stuff. These early 1968 John Lennon, Yoko Ono naked art shirts. That stuff, I'd never even seen that shirt ever. But what do you think is the highest nut shirt?
Well, there's a few different ones that you could kind of go with. I mean, the earliest stuff you're looking at is going to be Stones and Grateful Dead. That's kind of like where you're starting out at. You're 68. There's all of like the old Fillmore shirts, the stuff from Winterland, just the stuff that was a part of like crew only small batch stuff. Those Bill Graham intramural jerseys and stuff with the middle finger on them.
Yeah,
I didn't show you. We got one of those. I can pull that one out for you. But like, it kind of depends because there's just different collectors that value things differently.
Exactly.
Personally, though, I mean, the best stuff, in my opinion, the Ritva Man Rolling Stones Goat's Head Soup sweater,
Oh, yeah. Blaine's got that.
He's got one, yeah. He does.
That is like, when you look at that, like my buddy Adam from the Comedy Store, when we were at Blaine's, we're just looking at that and we're just like, look at that fucking sweater, just a go. Now that was a promo sweater, right? For like,
they made those. I believe there was like 50 of those made, and they were like literally made just for the bands. I've actually seen order forms from those that have like Mick Jagger like signing off on it. It was from Ritva Man, and I don't know if you've seen any of the other Ritva stuff, but it's really cool. The sweaters the Ritva company did. There's a Clockwork Orange one.
Oh wow!
That it's insane. That other sweater too that Blaine has.
Exile.
With the one with the kind of like what do you call it?
It's got like the
rhinestones.
Yeah,
right? That's another one. That piece is.
And also the Exile jersey he has. It's like the guy with the ball in his mouth and stuff.
That was another one with the pink sleeve. It's got like the white pink sleeves. Yeah,
was that a tour shirt or?
I believe that again.
Promo.
I think that was.
You ever had one?
No, I have not. One of my good friends has. He's got one of those, and those are nice pieces. Hard to find. Very hard to find.
What do you think is the highest dollar shirt though that you've sold? Actually, let's just say that.
So I sold an original Woodstock shirt.
Oh yeah.
To somebody who performed at Woodstock. I'm not going to say who. I'll let you or in the audience guess. But yeah, somebody that performed at Woodstock paid $5,000 for a Woodstock shirt.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. And he probably had a box of them when they were leaving. Like, don't forget your shirts.
Right.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, they're like, nah, it's muddy. I'm out of here.
And in my opinion, I think the Woodstock shirt is really kind of like what signifies maybe the most common early vintage shirt, but you can look at the early Beatles stuff, those little kids promo shirts. I mean, we have the Elvis shirt. I think it's from maybe 50, 58. I don't know. It's one of the earliest shirts, but they're like kids shirts. They're really tiny.
Yeah.
But people still collect it because that's the hardcore collector side, not the people that actually want to wear them as well.
I think that the rock and roll T-shirts, of course, it's all I've ever worn. Since the 7th grade, I don't own any other shirts, and I think they're some of the greatest things ever. But do you feel, as people like my age, I mean, you're a rare person, but eventually, and this is what I feel, all the stuff that we love, millennials don't give a fuck about. Okay, it was hot for a little while because it was ironic to wear, a shirt, like Scorpions Blackout, but do you think that it'll eventually go away? Be just a small core of buyers?
I think that when you look at just kind of, the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, just as a whole, and put that into like perspective of time, it's probably some of, if not the best art ever created that will ever be created. And so I know that people always draw upon it. Now, you also have kids too that are always, going to pick up, a Led Zeppelin album for the first time and hear it. Well, I guess they're not going to be picking up albums anymore.
Right. But they can just buy something at Target. To me, it seems like kids are way into like Supreme and stuff like that. They don't give a fuck about a rock shirt. They're like, hey, this says Supreme on it, which is one of the most genius things of all time. These guys, I still want one of those Louis Vuitton Supreme bags, the backpacks. And it's just like, and that's me, and I'm 52. But that is the stuff that becomes the new rock and roll. Supreme is the new rock and roll.
And, to their credit, they did a Black Sabbath collaboration. They did the Slayer one. And so, like, they're introducing, their influences and the things that, are behind their brand. One of the shirts they did, actually, it was a Hedgewish Records shirt, Black Sabbath shirt. They ripped the artwork directly off the shirt we were selling on eBay because you were not finding that shirt anywhere else, and it's the really simple graphic.
They ripped off your shirt?
I mean, they might. I don't know who bought it from me. I can't remember who actually purchased it, so they might have bought it to do that. But it was just funny when I saw it. I was kind of blown away. I was like, "Holy shit!" Because I'm always looking for Black Sabbath stuff. I mean,
you got Born Again stuff?
I do in my closet. I've got the good Devil Baby one.
Oh, nothing for sale. That's so rare.
I mean, we've got some good Black Sabbath upstairs in the collection here, but in my closet at home, like for some reason, that's what ends up in my closet is Black Sabbath. I got
that Heaven and Hell tour jacket you had up there, the silver satin one. That fucking knocked me out, man.
It's
from the Black and Blue tour. Black
the embroidery on the halos on that. It's over the top, but it's so beautiful.
I'm such a Dio era Sabbath. I just love, and also I saw the Born Again with Ian. At the Cow Palace, and I think Born Again is a masterpiece. It's just a weird era of Sabbath, and so fucking cool. Now let's talk a little bit about. How many people, I mean, you don't have to tell an exact number, but obviously you're a full-time business. You're selling shirts every day, all day?
Every day, all day.
No shit.
Yes.
And is it mostly States or Europe or what?
We probably could sell more if we opened up more. There's a huge market in Thailand and Malaysia. Yeah. The problem is the post office, the shipping there, it's either so expensive
or that shady. It doesn't get there.
And so it's really tough. A lot of these guys now, though, they're getting forwarding addresses over here to buy. But for the most part, we're sending them to New York, LA. I mean, it's they're going where you think they would go, really.
Yeah.
And, you have your one-off people that, if Def Leppard goes on tour, you got people that will want to buy a Def Leppard shirt to wear to the tour this summer. But, I feel like a lot of people, they buy one and then they like it so much and they start, you start collecting it. It's instant. It's addictive, man.
They're God, man. They're God to me. Now you have what I consider the Holy Grail, one of the Holy Grails that I want. You have the Led Zeppelin tracksuit that Bill Graham made for the crew and the band when they did their last shows in the States, 1977. And you got a green one, and it's so insane, man. Where did you get that? And was that the first one you got?
I'm trying to remember. That Bill Graham Grateful Dead that you looked at, that hoodie that was up there, that blue one.
Ooh,
it came from the same guy that was selling that, and when I got it, I was telling you it was torn to shreds. I mean, like there were holes all over the sleeves, but I've got a really awesome company down the street, Fine Stitch. Gonna give them a plug right here.
Yeah.
They do some great work. I have them work on the shirts all the time. I don't like to sell stuff with a lot of holes. If there's like an armpit seam thing, easy stuff, I like to get it repaired. There are people who don't mind holes or actually want holes, a lot of holes. But for the most part, I try to make sure everything's, the body of the shirt's in good shape. But he did a killer job on that jacket. It really was just mangled. It looked like a saber-toothed tiger attack or something, it was just
ripped. Is insane. Did he work for Bill Graham, that particular guy?
I imagine that there was some connection because most of the pieces were all Bill Graham pieces. There were a lot of different Dead pieces, but obviously the Zeppelin jacket, the moment I saw that, I had to jump because you don't see that one often. I mean, it's hard to see. And I got it pretty reasonably since it was so beat up. I mean, normally, a lot of those are mint because people put them up right away. They held on to those. Yeah,
a lot of those guys, those tour guys, they have 100 jackets in their garage. And you're like, whoa, look at this shit. They're like, oh, yeah, I was on that tour and then that tour and then that tour. They don't give a fuck anymore, What I'm starting to see a trend in, and also some of the rare stuff, would be early hip-hop shirts. Really fucking hard to find. That NWA one being one of the greatest that Blaine has, which could be one of the coolest shirts ever. Early Public Enemy, early Run DMC, early stuff like that. And also the kind of the stuff like we were looking at New Order, any of that kind of stuff, Joy Division, did they have shirts? You know what I mean? Shit like that.
I had one, like back in the day, it was really easy on eBay. You would find old A&R reps selling their whole collections. And I mean, you would always know what to expect because there would always be like the Beatles 10th anniversary.
Of course.
There would be your Wings Over America promo, the Capitol promo. There would be the Yellow Wings promo.
Whoever the big people were, they were just, making that to appease the artist too. Like, look, we got great promo stuff of you.
And these guys always had the same stuff in their collection. But every once in a while, you would get somebody that did something a little bit off. And, I had like a really, really nice early Bowie that I got from a person like that. And
what era?
It was 73. I think
wow.
It was 73. And it was a yellow. And we had it up we used it in our promotion and stuff on our site for a long time. But it's since moved on from me. And it always hurts like letting stuff like that go, like when you got a piece that you just don't see often. Like I was telling you about that Cro-Mag shirt earlier. You literally will only see one of those pop up a year, and it might only be the record store version, because there's a tour version, and then there's a record store version, and there's actually it's a black and white and red print version. But there's just certain items that don't come up that often. And back in the day, you would have these A&R reps always dumping this stuff, their whole collection, their whole life's work, all the records that they had. Like if I would have collected records, if I knew anything about records, I probably had a good chance to get some good stuff over the years. But it was always about the shirts for me, and so that's where I had my mind at. But if I would have been looking to the future a little better, I passed on a lot of really, really good stuff.
How's it looking for hip hop? What Tupac's huge, of course, original stuff like that. But was there tour shirts?
Well, there's a lot of promo shirts.
Right.
Tour shirts, not so much, but most of them were like promo. So they were either record store things or they were stuff put out by the record label. Tupac, his stuff, it's worth a ton right now. But there's always bootleg shirts too, and that's kind of what started this whole craze. These rap bootleg tees got really, really big, and then I can't remember the cat's name that put out the rap tees book. Ross.
Oh yeah.
We got a copy of it over there.
Yeah, that was great. That book. Yeah,
and that I think accelerated it because now everybody sees what's out there. When you didn't know it's there, you don't go looking for it.
And
right?
That old school '80s New York look is so cool. Of that early, DMC era. Like just to have like some, some of those glasses and then like a cool vintage hip hop shirt and some Adidas. That's a look that's never going to go away.
It is. It's classic stuff because that style is so, it's forever.
And this is what I want to ask you why I'm here. What do you got for Danzig? Do you got the second tour, the one with the upside down red cross?
No, we don't have that. I think right now we got the All Hallows Eve. It's just that orange print, that really weird. It's like a 94 or 95 deal. It's from a one-off show, though. It was.
No, I'm looking for that.
I know what you're talking about. I don't think we have that.
Yeah, Lucifuge and that shit. Man, have you gotten those? If you get that, I'm into that.
I'll keep an eye out for it. I'll find you one.
Yeah. And now when people hit you up, hey, I'm looking for this. Do you start looking for it or you just mark it down and when it comes, it comes?
Well, I'll go through my normal channels. Chances are, though, I'm already looking for it. I mean, any opportunity I get to get stuff that's quality, I'm going to do my best to get it because that's ultimately like what my job really is, and
right.
I enjoy it. It's, you watch these shows like American Pickers, these people go in these places to find this stuff, and it's almost like when you're going to look for shirts, whether it's going to a thrift store or going online, there's a slot machine effect almost, because you could find something really amazing that you weren't looking for, and next thing you know, you've got Led Zeppelin Day on the Green jacket, and it just happens like that sometimes. Yeah. Back in the day, I had you'll dig this. I want to say it was the Wall Harley up in Sturgis. There's a dealership outside of Sturgis. I want to say it was Wall. Well, whoever originally owned it had passed away, and his daughter was selling all of this stuff online. And this guy had kept one of every single shirt. Some he had two that they had ever sold.
Oh, every Harley design?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I got on eBay, $10 and $15 buy it nows. There were 2 Champion Blue Bar all over print shirts, with the one all over it.
Yeah.
Dead stock.
Wow.
And her whole page was just flooded with shirts with ones and skulls, basically, and naked ladies, like all the awesome Harley
all
stuff,
the old shit, man, when they were, outlaws still.
The good shit, yeah.
The AMF era, man, when they just had the crazy shit,
Really crazy. I mean, we were just looking at some the other day, and it's amazing. Like, that would never go today with...
Crazy racist shirts, too, about Japanese bikes and shit. You're like, what the fuck?
When we first started, selling a fair amount of shirts... It really freaked me out, but there's a Harley shirt, and it says, "From the people who brought you Hiroshima."
Wow.
And somebody in Japan bought that shirt.
Wow.
And I was just like, holy shit. Like, could you imagine, like, somebody having the balls to, like, walk around and wear something like that? I mean,
also,
that's such
a company that made the shirt, like Harley Davidson,
Could you imagine, like, anything even close to that today?
No way, man.
And, a lot of companies now, too, they're going back and rebranding from their old stuff.
Yeah.
Harley can't even do it. Like, it's too edgy. It's like, you either had tits, something, about the Japanese bikes.
Yeah,
or,
it's just crazy. It's crazy world out there, man.
I'd rather have a sister in a whorehouse than a brother who rode a Honda.
Yeah, that kind of shit. You're like, what? Now, okay, so you're getting ready. You're going to open a store. Is it going to be with the vintage stuff, or is it going to be, you're starting to get a little bit into collectible sneakers and Supreme stuff and that kind of stuff?
So in the last couple of years, vintage is really, like I was saying with the Supreme, Black Sabbath, it just, people are really getting introduced to a lot of different things and branching out. And so vintage and streetwear really started colliding. And, we would notice because all of a sudden we've got a huge spike in traffic on our website because Frank Ocean just wore this shirt at a performance, or, Travis Scott wore his 9 Inch Nails shirt, and now you got people just searching your site all the time for 9 Inch Nails, and they're trying to hop on the trends. But what's happened is, though, it's opened the kids' eyes, because this whole like streetwear economy, it's like this buy and sell, and kids realize, I can buy and sell vintage too. I can wear it, enjoy it, and then a lot of clothes you buy, you wear them for a while, and then they go to the back of your closet. Yeah. And it's like with vintage stuff, it holds its value, or it goes up in value, That's
what I tell everybody. I go, everything I own, I can resell for more money. I don't buy any garbage. You know what I'm saying? And it's always, I call it parachutes. Whenever I go, I got to pay rent. All right, there goes that shirt. But it keeps me going, and garbage is just garbage. It's crazy. So, like, even when people go, why do you like Louis Vuitton bags or Supreme, or why do you like these sneakers or these boots or this kind of, it's almost like, it's like you're wearing this shit and then you go, it's out of here, and you get all your money back. It's like free. It's free.
It's great.
Almost free.
It's great. It really is. And so, like, with seeing people open up more and more to these ideas of buying and selling stuff and understanding that that's acceptable. Because, in the early days, I would tell people what I did, and they would be kind of grossed out by selling or wearing like a used shirt, And
that's
it's
so weird.
It's really weird, but
it's not the Goodwill. I do a bit right now where I say the Goodwill, that's dead people's clothes.
Dead people's only.
And
right?
that's why it smells like that. No one talks about it. You know what I mean? But that's dead people's clothes.
Yeah, some people will sell like used shoes too. It's a big deal to do that. But personally, like, you sweat a lot through your feet, and you can't wash a shoe like you can a shirt. So I'm out on that. But like the new spot that we're opening up, we're going to be doing the streetwear. We're going to be doing shoes, limited release shoes. And then we're going to mix in the vintage with it and other, designer or high-end pieces and brands. We're going to kind of curate a selection that you can't just go someplace and buy. I mean, right now, the problem with retail in general is everything that is in a store, you could just go anywhere and buy it.
Brick and mortars, that it will be dust unless you have crazy, cool, unique stuff. And I'm looking forward to that. Like, I love on handmade episodes of having these people on that make shit that you can't get on Amazon.com. And that is going to be a whole new wave of retail, because people go, retail's dead. And I go, yeah, malls are dead because there's no soul in them all. You just go, okay, there's the Hot Topic, there's the fucking Jamba Juice, there's the Macy's, and it all has the same shit. But now let's have a small mall with like a vintage T-shirt shop, a Supreme, vintage stuff, a Louis Vuitton, hard to find stuff, rare watches, handmade bicycles or something. Now you're fucking in there.
I think it's a lot of that is like just branding in itself. Companies need to kind of take control of their brand. It's like these retailers, they can't survive because the stuff they're selling is so far behind the time it hits the shelves to the time it goes out, and then they got to move it back out. It's like, who would want to take on all of that overhead of stuff that could be just complete garbage, and having like a nicer selection of things. People want to go in if they're going to make a purchase of any sort of value. They want to go in and see it, and they want to know too that they're not buying fake shit because on eBay right now,
fake world, man. That's why I flip out on bags and sneakers and everything. It's so hard. Even rock shirts. I noticed what the new scam is they'll find a case of vintage 70s T-shirts. So now you've got the tag and everything. That's all we really need because that's all I'm ever looking at. And then they buy a new old stock T-shirts and then they print the Appetite. And the way I can tell right away, let's say the Appetite print, because I know that print inside and out. It's in my head forever. You could tell the colors,
the yellow's way off.
They're gold or orangey, and I go, oh no, this is fake.
Yeah, you can, and sometimes those inks will vary because there is European versions too.
Yeah, and they were also printed in different places around the country once the band got hot. I was reading about how, like, let's say they're on a West Coast run, a West Coast company would print the shirts, then a Midwest company would print them, and then that's why you also get different brands of T-shirts, but they all for pretty much run the same kind of style and quality.
You can tell most of the time if you have an eye. Because, it's like nobody's selling it. Yeah. Oh, yeah, when you have them in hand. Yeah. But, like, for some people, if they, like, think they're really getting that great of a deal, well, you're just not getting a $300 shirt for $20. It's possible. Don't get me wrong, but,
Let's run down some of the prices of some shirts, and because I always love doing this because it blows out people. They're like, "Oh, fuck that!" I love people always just fuck that.
We get hate mail all the time. People so mad.
Well, they're like, I really want that shirt, and I was at that show. You should give it to me for $20. Oh, okay. So just completely ignore all the work I did for the last 20 years and just let you have this because you need a little memorabilia. People are like just rude, they just wipe all the hard work out and be like, you're a fucking greed machine. It's like, hey, man, you could easily go dig around in flea markets and Goodwills and stuff and find one yourself.
Yeah, it takes a lot, like I was saying earlier, to get to where we are and to build a system with inventory management. We've gotten so far into things that I never thought, we would really have going on, but to build it, to get it to where it is now, we had to do things. And, you learn as you go, and I feel like for the most part, we're going to keep doing exactly what we do, and we're just going to keep figuring out how to make it.
What's the hate mail like?
Well, the hate mail, it's just always people pissed off.
He's going to fire one.
Oh, yeah, here's one right here. Adam made this pillow for me.
Oh, yeah.
It's so goofy. I was like, what the fuck is this when he handed it to me?
Yeah. Read that first. Okay. All right. It's a pillow. I love how you purchase these shirts for cheap and mark them up 300%. And then here it is. I'm glad you're a lover. Do you love our inventory? Hosting the largest collection of vintage T-shirts available online for you to shop and browse at? Do you also love the time it takes to find the shirts, photo them, store them, and list them? Do you love our discount codes and sales we run? Do you love all the overhead we have taken on to provide this one-of-a-kind experience? I want all your love. Thank you.
There you
exactly.
Go. It's funny. I can't believe I didn't even think about it. It's like one of the best ones is sitting over there. But that's what it is, though. People don't understand. Right. But it's like the whole reason you think it's cool. But the whole reason they think it's cool and they're looking at it is why it's worth that much.
Because they haven't seen it. Their exact words. I guarantee when they click on it, it goes, and they go, oh, I remember that. I had that. I was there what happened to mine? Those are the 4 things in their mind, you know? That's always hilarious, you know? So let's run down some stuff. Maiden is the king for value, right? For some reason, Maiden shit, which, by the way, while I got you here, it goes through my mind again. Do you have a great number of the Beast shirt?
We've got several. We've got a lot.
Okay, I want to see those before we split.
Yeah, well, our Iron Maiden collection is...
I'm only interested in the Number of the Beast tour. I'm a Number of the Beast guy only because
Okay.
I think it's one of the. I saw the tour a few times. It's one of the best prints ever. So Maiden the king out of all the stuff we would think. Maiden, Slayer, Metallica. Metallica's up there for the Justice and that stuff. Is Maiden the king?
So when it comes to actual tour shirts and
Yeah.
outside of your...
I only want to talk about tour shirts because those seem to be, because all the other stuff is rare and weird, promo stuff, but really what we want to get into is the tour shirts.
Yeah, when it comes though to like shirts, the most expensive ones outside of the crew pieces are always going to be Iron Maiden, basically. And part of that, the artwork is obviously phenomenal. There's always, it's 8-color prints. They're very detailed works of art,
Right.
but you also have the variants, and that's really what drives it. So like, they did the Texas show and they only do those shows and that artwork for Texas. And so you're already at a limited amount just,
Right.
For that time. And
They did that a few years ago. They did like Eddie in Beverly Hills. They did Eddie on the Easy Rider stuff. Each state they were in, they would have whatever they was big for. Eddie on the Statue of Liberty or whatever, that stuff.
Yeah, the Beast does Madison Square Garden one where it's got Eddie. It's a Piece of Mind tour, but he's ripping open the top of Madison Square Garden and decapitating the Statue of Liberty on front. I mean, that's just amazing artwork, and the fact that it's limited so much to that. You've seen like the Florida Vice is Nice Iron Maiden shirts.
Right.
Or, it's like Miami Vice and Eddie's sitting next to the Lambo and wearing the suit. The artwork is just so great.
And Maiden's universal, we were saying, because now we're talking about a band that, South America worships.
Loves.
And Maiden is the biggest metal band of all the time, as far as Maiden can, they got their own jet. They sell out football stadiums all over the place.
And they're cool dudes. They're
dudes.
super cool dudes. I've never heard anything bad about those guys ever. Fans, they're great to their fans.
Right.
And it's clear they love what they do. We've gotten to catch them a couple times when they've come through Kansas City.
And then AC/DC, Guns N' Roses. So what's the appetite at right around now? Is it still? I think it looks like it's always about $250 now.
Depending on size and condition, size has really become a big deal.
Yeah, it
the
has.
bigger shirts, because people
of
are a lot
Fat
bigger.
America.
Yeah, people
Fat
are
America.
big.
Yep.
And I think people could, start
And
losing some weight.
They had no double XL back then.
No, well, some in the 80s, but not many. But
No.
people can use them to be motivated to lose some weight. You can get that
Yeah.
shirt, and
Yeah.
I need to lose
So
weight.
GNR around 250.
Yeah, I think on the extra large, the last one we sold, it was probably 400, but
Whoa.
it was beautiful mint. I mean, it was a
It's
great,
up there
great
now.
example. Yeah,
400.
they're tough to get.
I got
and-
3. I
Yeah.
got 2 new old stocks, XL. I got the one I've been wearing since the day one. And then I've got a one that I rotated in. Then I've got a medium kind of worn one that's going to become my number
That's going to
one.
be the next one.
Of course, yeah, because the other one, man, the armpits are just fucking trash. And now, like I said, I switched deodorant, so I'm not afraid to wear them now. So who else is king? Slayer?
All the big...
Pusshead stuff, right?
Yes, definitely. We just sold an Exodus shirt with the Pusshead artwork. It was at 89. Is it 89?
Oh, like Toxic Waltz era?
It might have been 88, but it's the one where he's looking in the mirror and he's got the green shit,
Right.
and it's a really good one.
I mean, Pusshead.
I think it went
you
for
had a
$600.
Pusshead Aerosmith. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I think that one's like a $500 shirt because it's just...
Wow.
It's the only Aerosmith shirt you'd want to own in the modern era. There is a nice 80s one, an Angel one that's really cool. It's like the flash art tattoo. That's kind of neat. But
Right.
As far as the high dollar ones, man, I mean the Smiths.
The Smiths. My buddy Adam right now would be losing his mind.
The Smith stuff.
He's
is
always
just,
like, how come nobody makes a Smith shirt?
you can't find them because they sell so fast
Yeah.
if you've got good ones, right? But
Wow.
Sonic Youth.
Sonic Youth? Wow.
Dude, yesterday I lost out on Butthole Surfers,
Oh.
independent Reform Saloon.
Ooh.
And I always feel like an asshole when I lose on an auction.
I love the Dead Kennedys one with the Holiday Inn. Wow.
Oh, the Holiday Inn Cambodia ones?
Man,
Yeah.
I'm looking for that. I saw it at the. You ever go to Inspirations once a year in LA?
I've not been to Inspiration, but I would definitely love to
You should go this year.
Yeah.
There was a guy that had all of them, dude.
That's
all
awesome.
the punk rock. I mean, a wall of punk rock and rare skateboards. And I was just like, what? He had a shirt that fucking knocked me out. It was for All in the Family, and it was Archie Bunker. And it was just him like, making a face. This shirt was, I'll show you a picture of it. It was insane, man, but it didn't fit, or I wouldn't have cared. I would have bought it somehow.
Didn't matter.
I was like, Archie Bunker shirt? Come on.
No, some of the bands, so like I was saying, Butthole Surfers, like their shirts are going for $400, $500, $600 now.
Dead Kennedys?
Dead Kennedy stuff does pretty well. The Too Drunk to Fuck one, Travis Scott, he wore that one. And
right.
It put pressure on that item, like
Yeah,
people
yeah.
are flipping it. L7, good old L7
L7 shirts?
Yeah, the Hungry for Stink.
Really?
Smell the Magic, yeah.
How about Beastie Boys stuff?
Oh, yeah, Beastie Boys stuff is good. A lot of the problems with the Beastie Boys stuff is because right now in fashion...
it was too big. That's when they went into the big stuff?
The 80s stuff is a lot smaller, and the people who would wear the Beastie Boys stuff right now, like with the streetwear stuff, like oversized, baggy stuff, that's what's in. And so that's part of what the whole 90s craze is with the 90s shirts. But really, like 90s stuff in general right now is what's hot. So like Nirvana, Smashing Pumpkins,
wow,
Red Hot Chili Peppers.
No shit.
Yeah.
Wow. But I mean, I look at street fashion now. They've gotten away from the baggy shit and street. Hip hop guys wear skinny jeans, slim shirts and fashion items too.
High-end fashion.
High-end stuff, you know what I mean? They're not into that, goofy stuff. They all of a sudden started wearing slim stuff too.
Yeah, some of them definitely have taken on a higher form of fashion lately, it seems like, but that's on a whole other level, I feel like.
Oh, I can't thank you enough for doing the show, man. And it was great that you guys reached out to me. And I'm here in Kansas City doing shows with Joey Diaz at the Improv. And it's great to put a face on the place, And I really love what you do. And I know we'll stay in contact over the years because I do have a list of stuff I want. I want to see this Number of the Beast. And then we're going to get some barbecue now. Let's run through the barbecues. Where are we going?
We're going to go to Jack Stack Barbecue.
Look, obviously.
We're going to Jack Stack. But the best Kansas City barbecue is Kansas City Joe's.
The gas station one.
The gas station. Jack Stack's more of a sit down.
Yeah.
And have a nice meal where, Kansas City Joe's, it's literally at a gas station and you have to stand in line for
This
2
will be my
hours.
first Kansas City barbecue. I've eaten barbecue all over the world, and I've never been to Kansas City, which is weird. I've been everywhere, and I don't know why I've not been here. And maybe I have been here and don't remember it. But what is the style of barbecue here? Is it dry rubbed? Is it, what is it?
It's a mix because it's so competitive here that different places
do it different.
Yeah, because it's just there are so many places you could go to. I could name 10 places right now that are great, and each one has an item that's better than the other one. But like I was telling you earlier about Kansas City Joe's, the Z-Man sandwich, the brisket with the onion ring and the provolone. It is seriously. Anthony Bourdain said that is the best. Like when he came here, it's quoted for truth.
Let's go do it. Run real quick your websites and your Instagram and all that.
All right, so our website, it's wycovintage.com. That's
WYCO.
WYCO. And then we're on all of the Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Just look up Wyco Vintage and you'll quickly find us. We do new drops every single Friday. We try to add at least 50 new vintage shirts.
50?
Yeah, it's
whoa.
It's a lot. Well, we were doing like 75, and we had to kind of slow down a little bit because it was just like we were
running out.
It's just a lot, yeah. And then it's just like the next week, sometimes you're like, shit, maybe we should have held some back. But every Friday we drop at least 50 new vintage shirts, jackets.
Is that what the guy's doing upstairs right now?
He's getting a batch ready right now.
So what he does is, and that's funny because I did want to cover that before we go. Photos are a very, very big deal about selling this shit. Bad photo doesn't sell. So I saw you got like a serious pro setup up there, like a kind of a big photo box. And when you get a shirt in, what do? You wash it, you steam it, do you iron it? Because they're all in these great bags, and it's a pro lineup.
So the first thing I do when I get a shirt, I'll give it a smell test.
Yeah.
That's always one way to tell if it's real too. It's got to have the right smell. But if it smells a little funky, I'll go ahead and wash it. Or if I feel like there's any kind of storage wear stains, I'm really good at getting stains out of white T-shirts.
Really? How do you do it?
I use really, really hot water. Our water at my house is like just ridiculous, like scald you hot, and bleach. It's dangerous though. Don't do it.
Bleach?
Yeah, dude. I'll bleach the shit out. Yeah, but
it won't get on the print?
No, it doesn't do nothing. The print's ink, so it's like itself. So it's not gonna. Now, some inks could, but I've never really experienced one. I did have a Grunt Records 73 Jefferson airplane promo.
Yeah.
And it was dead stock, but it had like some rust stains on it, and it was just a red print on the front, man. I pulled that thing out, and I could see it faded right away, and I started looking, and everything was like tinged pink, and it had bled the ink because those are water based inks on the old stuff. Yeah. And so it bled out, but I was able to do another run and it came out of everything. So everything was okay. But that's why I say you don't want to do it necessarily. Yeah. One thing I recommend is just taking like a bucket, taking a white shirt and put some OxyClean in it and let it sit for like 3 or 4 days, and then throw it through the wash and see how it looks. But sometimes you'll bleach a shirt, and if it had armpit stains, they might come out worse. So you
they don't come out armpit stains, do they?
Not really. There's a boiling water method where you like boil a pot of water and do the same oxy thing I told you to get it really, really hot because it might be able to really break it down, with the heat. But no, we bring them in, and if I have to wash them, I do. Otherwise, I'll throw them lightly in the dryer just to help get a little wrinkles out.
Yeah.
Put them on the hangers. I never thought I'd do this much laundry in my life. I mean, just this morning, I realized that I needed to bring stuff in for him to do today, and I had like 3 things I had to do this morning, and just remember that I'm like, oh god.
But you should be selling the shirts for $20, dude.
Right,
Pretty fucking asshole.
Oh, I like that you see that part. But it's like the process of getting it from there, and then I take it from my house, and for some reason we're not smart enough to get a washer dryer set up at our place of business. Oh yeah. So I have to haul the shirts, but then we bring them over. They get photoed, they get the front and back done, and then they go through a close-up process. We measure them. Do you give a little
history of the shirt, too? I think that would be kind of cool, like done. But, there's that guy that has the Pinball Hall of Fame, man, in Vegas. It's killer. He'll be like, artwork was done by such and such. He was famous from this year to these years, and also known for this and that. That would be cool.
We try to give as much history as we can. I would say we could probably give a little more, but when you're dealing with the volume we're at, it becomes really intensive at that point. And,
I got you.
All the data entry can lead to clerical errors. So the more text that you add to it,
you're fucking wrong, dude. That concert was in 81, not 82.
I love those people though, because if we are wrong, I mean, we're human, we make mistakes, and a lot of our research is based off of we have to dig and look and try to find examples, and there's NAFTA comes into it sometimes with shirts, trying to age them, but people like that have a real experience that they can be like, I was at that concert and it was, this, or maybe the artwork on a bootleg is off on the year, because sometimes on bootlegs, parking lot ones, they would use 2 albums ago artwork, or artwork that is not even associated with the band. I'm sure you've seen that Black Sabbath shirt. There's also Van Halen ones with the dude on the front and the like monster lady with the boobs.
Yeah.
But multiple bands, like those bootleggers, would use that same like fantasy image.
I just sold a new old stock Fair Warning.
Yeah?
Yeah, got some good money on it because I had lost weight recently, and it was actually kind of big on me. I'd never worn it, and I said, I'll just sell this because I lost like 40 pounds. You got any good Fair Warnings? The actual T-shirt one? That's a great print.
I don't believe we do right now, actually.
Before we go, I know that, like, you're not into knockoffs, but, like, I think that if somebody can make these shirts fantastic and we can wear them and not worry about the originals, are you against that?
We've got a lot of different ways we look at it. I mean, like, I like what Blaine does, and I know Blaine, and the way he does it, it's coming from the right place, and I think
really
that
is.
The way he does it too, the detail and everything. I mean, it's really amazing. I got to go out and see the whole operation last summer when we were out there, and it was really cool just to go through and see all the different pieces. And he draws inspiration from this stuff. There's other people out there though that are intentionally making stuff that they like are trying to pass off as real, and that's where
different.
shit just gets
fuck
so
that.
weird.
I don't like that shit.
And people are doing it more and more. And
I think Blaine's the all-time best.
No, he's got it on lock.
Yeah,
he did it first.
I don't even wear anything else.
Yeah, that's what you were saying.
I got rid of everything I owned.
And when you get in the car, like at first when I saw that shirt, I wasn't for sure if that was an actual OG or if it was one of his.
So great, man.
He does a good job on it. And there's other brands. I don't know if you've seen Fear of God.
No.
So there's a brand out there, and what they've done is they'll take vintage shirts and they'll print their company name onto the shirt. So like literally taking, a piece of artwork and stamping your name on somebody else's art. And kids will pay 3 to 4 times what the shirt actually would go for if it didn't have this guy's brand on it. And that's part of that Nirvana I was telling you about. Justin Bieber wearing it, the one he wore.
Oh, it's a Fear of God?
Yeah. So
that makes it kind of like...
It's still vintage, but he's just adding his name on it, desecrating a piece of history.
Right. It's kind of like Mr. Brainwash, fucking, adding art to art or whatever. And like, look what I made. You're like, dude, you didn't make that.
No, it's fucking disgusting. And just like
I'm not into that, but I am into... If somebody could make me the 10 shirts, to me, it's really about 10 shirts all my life that I really care about. It's the Appetite is the number 1 shirt in my thing. The number 2 is Back in Black Tour. It's a shirt I never fucking stopped wearing. Number 3 would be the Number of the Beast. An incredible Ted Nugent from the Cat Scratch Fever, Devil Alive Gonzo. Any of that, even though they didn't have those shirts, but something with that thing on it. Sabbath, Heaven and Hell, to me, is one of the best visual art pieces I've ever seen.
It's pretty amazing.
I worship any Grateful Dead now. Any Grateful Dead, fucking, especially the weirder they are, where it's not just your standard one. I took a picture of one a couple days ago in New York. It was Chili Head, and it's just an incredible shirt. I'll show it to you. And there's that place in New York. What is it, Metropolis?
Yeah, Metropolis. Yeah.
So I walk by that place every day. But here,
you know Steven then?
I don't know the guys, but here's Chili Head. Look at that.
That's great.
Great,
Steven's a good dude. He's the guy with the red curly hair.
Yeah. So, and then a Primo Motorhead shirt, one crushing. Metallica has been on my, there's like 5 Metallicas I wear nonstop, and Justice being the one, but if I could get those always in a great quality, I just keep wearing them because I just love that flag of who I am and who that band was and what they mean to me. There's nothing more about it. When you see me, you know who the fuck I am from the shirt,
And that's why the shirts are so great. Like people collect all kinds of stuff, right? And you can have your autographed baseball that sits on your shelf.
Doesn't mean shit.
But the shirts, you can put them on. You get to like show off, like what you enjoy, what you like. There's so much self-expression in them.
Yeah.
It's a wearable piece of art. And so like when people bitch about the price, it's like, what other collectible are you going to buy that you could actually like go show it off?
You get to go around. Yeah, to me, it's sneakers, shirts, and watches.
Yep.
I'm always on the road. Everything else could burn to the ground at my house. I wouldn't even know about it because this is who I am. And at the end of the day, I go, well, my shit got ruined, but dude, I still got the Appetite shirt.
Right.
I still got my watch, and I got these boots or sneakers, And
they have those shirts. They got soul to them, man. Know that they were connected.
Got soul, dude.
They were connected to a place and time.
Show, man. Ooh, I saw Springsteen vintage shirt. from the Born to Run. Oh, man. That shit. You got Springsteen?
Oh, we got a lot of Springsteen.
Really?
Yeah.
Like the crazy old ones, though?
We've got some really good ones, man.
Wow.
Some really, really good old ones.
And the Dead. All right, let's get out of here. Let's go eat. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody, to another Handmade episode. You were a fantastic guest and a great host here in Kansas City. And, man, that Powerade shirt melted my face off, of original Powerade shirt. Everybody, subscribe and rate and review the podcast on iTunes, and subscribe to the new YouTube channel. Keep the candles lit. See ya.